Hi, my name's Angela Nicholson, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you a few of the fundamentals for creating black and white images from Colour Originals, so you can turn an image like this into one like this. The best way to create a black and white image using Photoshop is to use an adjustment layer, as this preserves your original image and you can make changes whenever you want. So simply go to Layer, scroll down to New Adjustment Layer and select Black and White. Now click OK to open the palette. As you can see, the image is immediately made black and white. If we just move the panel over here so we can see what we're working with. Now there are a couple of ways of adjusting the image. For a start, you can use this drop down list to apply different filter effects, and it's worth just clicking through these to see whether there's one that you like. If you don't like them, just go back to default. Another option is to use these sliders, and you just adjust the input that each colour is having. So if I move this red slider to the right, the reds get lighter. If I move it to the left, they get darker. And it's worth adjusting each one in turn just to see what sort of result you get, and just play around until you find a result that you're happy with. If you want, you can use these controls to add a tint to your image. All you need to do is put a tick in this box and a colour comes up. If you don't like that colour, click in the box and then click around in the colour picker until you find one that you do like. You can make the colours lighter or darker and more or less saturated. It's up to you. Now I actually quite like the original colour, so I'm just going to click back on here and then hit OK. There, I'm happy with that now. When you're creating a black and white image, it can be quite interesting to leave a bit of colour behind. So I'm going to convert this image to black and white as we did before. And then I'm going to leave some colour in. Now I just want to brighten the reds a little bit. That's okay. And now I'm going to add a mask. All you do is click in this white box, and then with the brush selected and the colour set to black, you just paint in where you want the colour to show through. Now you can zoom in obviously to make it a bit more easy, so you can be a bit more careful along the edges. Let's go in a bit further and select the brush again, and you can make the brush bigger or smaller using this drop down box and slider here. And if you make a mistake like this, what you need to do is go to the double headed arrow, switch to the white paint and just go back over. Now obviously this takes a little bit of time if you're going to do it very carefully, but it's quite a simple process, and that's all there is to it. You don't have to use Photoshop to create black and white images. You can also use Adobe Camera Raw, and of course that can be used on RAW files or JPEGs. So from the basic panel here, I'm just going to click on this one, the Hue, Saturation, Luminance / Grayscale panel. Now if I just click in that box, we get a series of sliders we can use to adjust the image. Now if I move this orange slider to the right, the oranges in the image get brighter. If we move it to the left, they get darker. So you just manipulate the image until you're happy with the result. From here it's very easy to add tone to your image. Just click on the next panel along, the split toning option. And now we can add tone to either the highlights and or the shadows. So the best thing to do is to push the saturation up so you can see what you're looking at. So just push those up there. Now I'm going to adjust the highlight colour. You just move backwards and forwards until you find the colour that you quite like, and the same with the shadows. And then if you find a look that you like, let's try that and that. When you find a look that you like, just take the saturation down until you find the right balance. That's too far. You can also use this slider to adjust the amount of area that's considered shadow and highlight. So it's basically the balance between the colours. And then when you're happy, you can either open the image to work further in Photoshop, or you can click Done. Another way to create a black and white or duotoned image is to apply a gradient map, and this can be done as an adjustment layer. So we go to Layer, New Adjustment Layer, and then Gradient Map, and click OK. Now it's made the image black and white, but I want to do a bit more work, so I just click on this gradient here to bring up the panel, and now I can adjust the image. Now if I move the end points, and this is making more of the image white, put that back. If I move the black side, it's making more of it black. So basically the darker tones are getting darker still. And similarly I can move the midpoint if I want. Let's put that back where it was. But I want to use this to create a duotone. So I'm going to click on this white point here, just double click, and I'm going to give it a yellowish colour. It's a bit too strong. That's probably about right. So just click OK. And now I'm going to give the shadows, the darkest points, a purple colour. So again, just double click and let's find a good purple. Actually that works pretty well straight away. Let's stick with that. So maybe a bit more. So OK. Now you could adjust these colours again if you want. Move the slider to shift the dominance of one colour or the other. But that's better. Just give it a bit more brightness. Now I'm quite happy with that, so all I have to do is click OK.